Welcome to Deep Thought. Research is always the key to acquiring knowledge. Now, I said earlier this week I would talk about research. I'm going to say research. You got to go deep. Like I said, I generally say, no matter what I say, research it for yourself. Don't just take it seriously. Research it for yourself. And if you come back with some information that contradicts something I've been saying, I don't mind. Because I'm still learning myself. In fact, that's a part of research. One thing I do in research, and once I research something, I say, okay, what do people have to say against this? When I do research, all right, who has a dissenting opinion? Who has a dissenting viewpoint? And I research that too. Like whenever I pick up a book or something, whenever I get a nonfiction book on anything, I always look at the notes. I'm big on looking at the notes. If I question something or I disagree with something, I say, okay, let me see the notes. Let me look at this. And then let me look at the notes, period, to dig deeper into this concept, regardless. And as you see behind me, I got a whole lot of nonfiction books. Yeah, I look at the notes, the end notes, footnotes, everything, bibliography, everything. Because that's how you have to do it. See, research, period, if you really want knowledge, you can't just go, you really don't know something until you look at it. You got to look at it at all angles. You got to look for examples of it, like the knowledge I present just telling men how to get women. I tell guys all the time, research it yourself. Now, I'm not just presenting it. Like some people will come back and say, well, that theory, no, it's a theory for you. I don't talk about anything I haven't seen work. I haven't talked about a single thing. Like when I'm known for talking about body game, I know it works because I know women treated me differently, including some women had previously put me in a friend zone because my body had changed. And then I actually talk with other people, and people don't realize even for the relationship stuff, I put out surveys a whole lot of times. I haven't done one in a few years, but my last one, and this was a few years ago, was a questionnaire for players. And I put it out, and I had people answer, including some people who really weren't players. I was like, well, they answered anyway. I said, you know what? I still took the answers in, And there's different types of research. Like I'm known as a field master, but I do field research, qualitative research. Sociologists are familiar with that term. That's just another way of saying field research. They don't just talk about a particular culture or group. They'll go hang out with them. A lot of sociologists will do that. That's research, not just looking at yes, you want to look at the stats and everything, but then you want to see, okay, who's really living a life? So quantitative research, that's the more scientific type, the numbers, like this percent of people do this percent, but then you want to go out and say, okay, who's actually doing, you actually want to talk to the people. That's qualitative research. You want to have focus groups, or if you can, like if you're studying a certain subculture, you want to live among that subculture to really know where they're coming from. You want to go out and do that. Like when you're talking about research, yes, you're doing a reading, but then you're going out as well. You might be going to a particular area. Like if I wanted to do a ethnographic study of a particular group, I would go live where they're at. I would try to embed among them. That's important. That's research too. Qualitative research, field research, and the field research, that's anybody can do that. If you want to know how people behave in a certain area, you just go out. And you don't have to have like credentials and everything. In fact, anybody with credentials, that just means they were not only taught how to research properly, but then how to defend their research. Like when PhDs, they always call it their dissertation defense. They have to explain where they came, how they come across these ideas. Shoot, I had to do one, didn't even know it. My book, Nice Guys and Players, I was invited to an academic conference, and I was put on an academic panel. And I'll never forget that because I was annoyed because they didn't tell me beforehand. I didn't ask to be put on a panel. They didn't say, well, you're gonna be expected to defend your book. Now I defended it, and a lot of PhDs, they congratulated me. But some other PhDs in the audience was like, yeah, they should have warned you first. I got something to say to the organizers. And it should have. It did piss me off. Because they could have, I wouldn't have mind doing it. And I held up. They gave me some dap for holding up. But I was like, y'all should at least told me. But that's the thing. That's in the academic fields, you can't just say anything. When you're dealing with more intellectuals, you can't just say something. They're going to be thinking about it, you know? But you want to, like, when you want knowledge, you just don't want to take what someone says. People, look, first of all, in the age of social media, anybody says anything. You got people who will say it, or at the end of the day, they're just giving their opinion. You don't adopt it, including stuff I say, until you go out and check it out. That's why I say, go check it out. Go check it out. Go, like if I talk body game, or if I mention something on here, go check it out. A few weeks ago, I was talking about different social classes within the black community. Go check it out for yourself. Anybody can see it. People do see it within the community. That's why you have terms like hood or bougie. That's just right there. That's just within the culture. Those are two different social classes. If somebody's being bougie or somebody's being hood, you already know the difference. But then some researcher might say, okay, why that is? Oh, got different social classes to begin with. But you got to do the research. Like everything I talk about, even stuff I throw out there, I have some thoughts on. Unless I specifically say, I haven't really looked into that. And I might talk about that on this channel just to say, hey, what y'all see or something. But I research stuff. These books, this is just a small, if I had every book I've ever read, I would have, it'd have a bookcase going around the room, literally. Because some I purchased, plenty I've sold. I've had and I sold. And then I have a library card. But you want to do that with any area. I don't care what it's for. You might want to get into a business. I say on my money channel, research that business. You want to find out about people. Shoot, best way is to go out. If you want to know what's happening at clubs or whatever, go out. The stuff I'm talking about relationships. I got notes downstairs where I've talked with men and women. I've sat down and talked with them. Got their perspective on stuff, got their perspective. So it's not like I'm just going by, just my personal experience. I researched it. And that's always a key for acquiring knowledge. Because once you research something, once you see, okay, this is something that I can incorporate into my consciousness, boom, you have knowledge. And then you can apply that knowledge when you need to. But you can't it's not good just to hear something and just go with it without questioning why, without saying why, because one of the things like on social media I dislike is when somebody say they disagree with something. They'll just have it saying, well, I disagree with that. Okay, why? And then they never can answer when you ask why. So I just say, you know what? That's showing me that they don't know. They just go on with it. They're not questioning stuff. They don't have a good reason why not. It's like, and I've got in arguments with men and women over it. They'll say something. I'll say, well, why you say that? Well, this is what I've researched. This is what I'm seeing. This is what I'm looking into. Because there's a lot of stuff out there people will believe. But if you ask them why, well, this person said it. No, research it. Don't believe it. Like I say, even with what I talk about. Research it. Take I don't care what it is. Take something and look into it yourself. And not just what you think or feel. And definitely not what you feel, but say, what you did the research into this. This is not what people really want. So I want y'all to think about that, all right? Always, that's the key. Research. And you don't need some credentials to research. All the credentials do is give you, it teaches you how to research. That's it. But if you can talk with people, if you can read and you can talk with people, you can do research. So anyway, I want y'all to think on that, and I'll get back with y'all on Sunday, all right? Talk to y'all. Peace and blessings.